Rich Dad Poor Dad. Introduction. The stories of my childhood are about two fathers. One dad was rich, the other was poor. Both of them wanted me to be a great man in life, but approached this goal from two very different perspectives based on their own personal experiences, outlooks and philosophies. So what's the difference between these two dads? In the 20th century, two different kinds of fathers raised two different kinds of sons. In the 20th century, two different kinds of fathers raised two different kinds of sons. One father was an employee and one was an investor. One taught his son that money was the key to happiness and a good life, while the other taught his son to do things for himself, so he could be rich without having to rely on anyone else for his income or security. In this book we will explore these two very different philosophies and show you how they affect your financial future. The first father, the poor dad, is a man I'll call Sam. He was a good man, but he considered himself to be unlucky in life. The first father, the poor dad, is a man I'll call Sam. He was a good man, but he considered himself to be unlucky in life. He worked hard, but never seemed to get ahead of the pack at work or at home. He believed in hard work and education. He had even attended college with my rich dad, but after graduation he could not find a job that would pay him more than $10 an hour. Rich Dad Poor Dad, What the Rich Teach Their Kids About Money That the Poor and Middle Class Do Not, was written by Robert Kiyosaki and Sharon Lechter in 1997 as part of their Rich Dad Poor Dad series of books that teach financial literacy through stories about real-life experiences from both perspectives of rich and poor families. The second father, the rich dad, is a man I'll call Bob. He was a complex person who had many layers to him. The second father, the rich dad, is a man I'll call Bob. He was a complex person who had many layers to him. Bob and my real dad were friends for many years before I began spending time with him, so I got to know him as an adult and not just as a kid. I saw his different sides, but it wasn't until much later in life that I realized how important those differences were to me becoming successful. My real dad was very smart and worked hard at everything he did, and so do I. But there's no doubt in my mind that the lessons from Rich Dad helped shape my thinking about money and business. Lessons that have made all the difference between being poor or rich throughout my life. Sam shared his experiences with his son and advised him on the importance of hard work, education and saving money. Sam believed in the importance of hard work. He had been working since he was a young boy, and he saw it as an essential part of life. He knew that if you didn't work hard, you would never get ahead in life. Sam also believed in education and encouraged his son to go to college so that he could better himself through learning new skills and knowledge. Sam felt that this would help him achieve success later on down the road by making him more competitive against others who didn't have degrees or other qualifications. Lastly, Sam stressed saving money as another important factor for financial security. While these three things were important aspects of Sam's advice for his son's future success, there were two additional pieces which were just as vital: an optimistic outlook on life and good luck with investments. Bob shared with his son stories about how the world worked, and Bob shared with his son stories about how the world worked and why it worked that way. He told his son about how the world worked in a way that made sense to him, and advised him on the importance of hard work, education and saving money. Rich Dad spent time teaching his son about investing early in life by taking him to visit factories and buying properties together, as well as giving him an allowance so he could try out various things. Rich Dad spent time teaching his son about investing early in life by taking him to visit factories and buying properties together, as well as giving him an allowance so he could try out various things. Rich Dad also made sure that he gave his son the best education possible, which included sending him to a private school where he learned how to think differently from other people. Poor Dad believed in working hard at school so that he could get a well-paying job, while Rich Dad believed in learning useful skills so he could create his own job opportunities. Poor Dad believed in working hard at school so that he could get a well-paying job. rich dad believed in learning useful skills so he could create his own job opportunities. Poor dad was focused on the end result, rich dad was focused on the journey. Both dads wanted their sons to be financially secure, but they approached this goal from two very different perspectives that were based on their own personal experiences, outlooks and philosophies. Both dads wanted their sons to be financially secure, but they approached this goal from two very different perspectives that were based on their own personal experiences, outlooks and philosophies. Poor dad's philosophy was based on the idea that hard work will pay off in the end. He grew up poor himself and worked hard his whole life so that he could give his children a better life than he had growing up. Rich dad's philosophy was based on the idea that education is the key to success and financial freedom. He believed that you could learn how to make money anywhere at any time by learning how money works rather than just turning it through a job or business venture. Conclusion: this is important because it shows that the values we adopt in life are often shaped by our experiences and the people around us. People who have had similar experiences tend to have similar outlooks on life, and those who share common values will often find themselves drawn together. It's also worth noting that the two dads are very different from each other. One is poor while the other is rich, so it's clear that your background doesn't necessarily determine how successful you will be in life if you put in effort and work hard enough at achieving your goals.